The Kalinga Warriors have a game in hand and can spoil this party. Diego Maurizio, saved by Sachin Suresh. Odisha gutted, hit by a sucker punch.
And they're not happy about it because Jahu is telling him to calm down. Odisha straight off the pitch. They were outplayed. Right now, Bengaluru, have there been enough players working hard? That was a chance for the captain, Sunil Chetri.
Krishna and Bengaluru that need to buck up. Welcome to a brand new match week in the Indian Super League, and it is packed with games. The first one takes us to Bhubaneswar as Odisha take on Bengaluru, and maybe Jahu can give that flower to Amrinder after the scenes we saw in Kochi. Both the sides have a double match week coming up, and then of course there's a cracker at the furnace. But welcome to Let's Football. Paul Macefield alongside me. And no, he is not dressed as anyone scary on Halloween. Very disappointed, but he always has a few tricks and tricks up his sleeve.
I always look like this.
Are you ready for this one? What a week. That cracker at the furnace, Jamshedpur Mohan Bagan, big one, and then champions up against the newcomers.
Going to be very, very interesting. Then Northeast, because Odisha are playing today, then again on Friday. So Northeast will have had a little bit of a rest before they get their game. Bengaluru back in action then away at Hyderabad, who desperately need to score a couple of goals from somewhere. East Bengal, who we haven't seen for a while, they're up against the Blasters. That should be an absolute sellout at the Salt Lake. Chennai Goa, Chennai, they turn their season, and then we finish with Punjab again at home against Hyderabad. So an excellent top draw week in the ISL.
Brilliant, and that sets us up wonderfully for the break as well. Odisha come into this fresh from that defeat in Kochi, where they took the lead very much like they did against Goa before dropping all the points. Did Kochi get to them, Mace?
No, I think they just lacked concentration. They fell asleep. Ranawadi there, if he's on his mettle, he stands on the ball, they don't score that goal. For the first half, let's be honest, Odisha were bang at it and looked really good. But then that second half, from that goal, it was all Kerala Blasters.
When that happens, Mace, on the pitch, as an opposition, when you watch that happen between the leaders of the side, do you already know, oh, we've got under their skins?
Yeah, you know that you've got under their skins, but I'm telling you now, there's nothing wrong with players debating what's going on, but normally you leave it till the end of the game, and sometimes you even have a dust-up in the changing rooms afterwards. I mean, let's not forget. Well, we'll talk about that one first before the dust-up, but I mean, that was just sheer magic from Luna. But let's not forget, we heard, didn't we? You know, you remember, you look back at that Jamshedpur team and Stewart arguing with Hartley in the dressing room and almost coming to blows, and that drove them on to go and win the league, which is exactly what they did, or go on to win the Shield. And, you know, it does happen.
Amrinder also slightly shaky start, especially in a year where the Asian Cup is coming up. There is pressure, and of course Gurpreet on the opposite end. Those two are fighting for the #1 spot.
Well, they are really. When you look at them technically, they're both very good goalkeepers, but why would we see them down here towards the bottom of the table? 8th versus 10th today, and you're talking about the two national team goalkeepers being there. The young guns are starting to come through. They're knocking on the door, and they all want that #1 jersey for India, because everybody wants to book their slot come January to Qatar.
A win for any of the two sides tonight, and they can go into the top half of the ISL table. That is the challenge, and nobody wants to lose a game. Of course, they have double match week this time, but they want to get into that break with momentum. Odisha have a lot of games coming up, but the big question all the time, and it's 50-50 from the fans, who should lead the line, Krishna or Diego?
You tell me who should lead the line. Let's make this 51-49, and then we'll see if it goes back to 50-50. Who would you pick?
Diego Maurizio for his mobility.
I would too, so it's 52-48% now then.
We've killed it there. That's brilliant. But just in terms of what they offer to both the teams, and here's breaking the news before we go into the formations. Roy Krishna is starting. What do you make of that decision?
I've got no issue, no problem with that. And I tell you what, when we do hear the interview a little bit later with Roy Krishna, we did touch on this and about, is it frustrating for you to be in and out the side? He said that he spoke to the manager. He's very good as well with Mauricio. This is a team. He knows his role. He knows how he has to play. And when he gets his chance, he wants to score goals. That's exactly the same as Mauricio. So there is a togetherness about this Odisha side that I don't think we've seen for a while.
Jerry Mawingthanga also returns in place of Aniket. That's a big one. He's in good form. And of course, we did speak with Roy Krishna and Sergio Lobera before the game. This is what they had to say to Paul Masefield.
Hi, Sergio. Do you think you should have got more from that last game against Kerala Blasters, especially with that first half performance?
Yes, I think we played very well especially in the first half. We scored one goal. We have the opportunity to score the second one in the penalty. But in the second half was different, and we need to learn. We need to improve in some things, especially in the second half, and we need to keep going with the things we are doing well. Obviously, it's painful to lose a game like this. Also, in the games before, I think we scored 7 goals in 4 games. Always we score first, but we need to manage better some situations, especially in the second half, and especially in the last minutes of the games. We lost a lot of points in the last minutes of the games. We need to improve about this, and this is my job as a coach. But I am happy with my players, with the work they are doing, and as I told you before, we need to improve in small details, because small details is possible to change everything.
You just talked there about managing things. You made 3 changes in that last match, and now you've got 3 games in 8 days. How difficult is it to manage that situation and pick a stable team?
Yes, but this is football. We need to learn about this. There are good moments, there are difficult moments during the games, during the season. It's a long season. You know ISL better than me. Everything is possible to change now. In 4 days, in 3 days, we have 2 games, and everything is possible to change. No, we need to manage the situation. There are always is not black or white. Gray in football also exists. We are professionals. We need to analyze the situation as a professionals, not only about the result. And I think we are doing something good and something we need to improve. But manage the situation when you have a very good players, a very good dressing room, a very good profile of the professionals. It's easier. And for me as a coach to go to the dressing room with this squad, with these players, it's easy for me to manage this kind of the situations, because we are ready. We are ready for the next challenge. When you lose one game like the last game against Kerala, you want to play the next game immediately. And today we have the opportunity.
Hi, Roy. Nice to see you. How do you feel that you've settled into life at Odisha?
It's good so far. I think getting the new players, of course, much more quality. But yeah, life is good in Odisha. Of course, family is not here. But yeah, it's good so far.
You seem to play a different role in the AFC Cup last week, and you've been rotated a little bit this season with Diego up front. How frustrating is that for you?
Look, it's not frustrating. Of course, as a player, you want to start every game. But before I signed, I had a good chat with the coach, and what he wants me to do on the pitch. I just need to get there and do my best and help the team win. That's my job. But end of the day, I know what my role in this team is, and coach made really clear. So I just need to get some goals and get the confidence back.
I'm sure it's not going to be long before that happens, but this is your 5th season now in the ISL. How have you seen the league develop, evolve, and how different is it now from when you played that first game those 4.5 years back?
Oh, definitely it's getting tougher. With the new players, of course, all coaches are coming back. And especially this season, you can see a lot of surprises, surprising result, which is good, putting the big teams under pressure. But look, this season is, I think, one of the toughest seasons for me personally as well.
Up against your old club, what do you want to do?
I think just keep it simple, just do my job, whatever the coach wants me to do, but just focus on ourselves, just be patient with the ball, and hopefully we can kill the game in the first half, because we scored few goals. Obviously we scored first in every game, but we couldn't hold on to the result. So hopefully we can do that tonight.
Roy, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Roy Krishna, once upon a time, he was bossing the league. But it's a good sign that he's not bossing it anymore, as he said.
Absolutely. I mean, he said it was a lot harder than it was 4 years ago when he first came in. But it's somebody who knows about the league, and knowledge here is key and king. And that's why we get the likes of Jahu returning, as well as Delgado, you know, as well as Matara Fall. We're seeing all these players. Damjanovic has been here before. But Krishna, for me, proper talisman initially, but now understands he has a role to play. It's not all about him like it was when he initially signed for ATK all those years ago. He now knows that he's evolved as a player. He knows he's going to play international matches as well for the national team. He now knows his role has changed as he has aged as well.
You know, to the regular eye, sometimes Diego Maurizio and Roy Krishna can very much seem like the same kind of player in terms of approach. But in your expert's opinion, what are the little differences between the two?
It's actually not a bad question for you, Paul. It's a very, very good question, because Mauricio has the pace to go in behind now. I don't think Krishna has the pace that he had before. But if you watch Krishna, he plays intelligently. He drops into pockets and holes. Mauricio does as well, but he doesn't do it as much as Krishna. He looks to turn, he looks to go in behind. Whereas Krishna, it doesn't mind coming deeper, getting the ball, laying off, spinning, and looking to go again. So they are differing players.
Different players, of course, and different back line today. Carlos Delgado and Narendra in the team. Mace, this was your 11. No foul, of course, and you don't have Sai in there as well.
I know, and I've got Isaac in the middle as well,
yes,
because I'm desperate to see him again. I thought he was absolutely on fire when he played last year. The back four near enough picks itself, and we do know that Sergio Libera does like to use those two centre-backs, because Jahu in front can give them that creativity. He then needs a striker who can put the ball in the back of the net. There's enough talent for me at this Odisha team to be able to play a team like this and win games.
Is there no way to fit in Roy Krishna and Diego Maurizio like he does in the AFC Cup? Of course, he's got an allowance of playing an extra foreigner, but maybe at some point one of the two centre-backs get dropped and we can have Roy Krishna and Diego in tandem?
Or switch them. It depends on who you're playing, what you're playing, how they play, and systems and formations. And that's why you hear all the coaches. And people might get bored with what they say. We take it a game at a time. And yes, you do, because every opponent is different. You can look at the opponent, but only after you've finished your game. You look forwards to the next opponent. So every game is different, and different personnel can do different things against different opponents because of the way that they play. So that's why it is vitally important to be able to rotate, be able to mix and match, and be able to throw players into different positions and different scenarios when you need to.
Sai Goddard finds himself in a different scenario playing through the middle, but most of it is down to Isak Ralte firmly being picked down the left. Very Sergio Libera kind of player, isn't he? Just ready to be molded, young, youthful. He's got energy. He's brave as well on the ball.
Are you saying a Bippin when he was at Mumbai?
Like it, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Again, the same as Jerry on the other side, who can create and give you those problems there. He's overcome that injury now, so it's good to see him back in that starting lineup. So, you know, he likes players out wide, but what he likes is he likes the quality of the delivery into the box. They do play. Jahu gets the ball, they pass it, whether it's long, whether it's short. They go for the second balls, and then they go again. And they do cause issues and problems, but you have to get the quality into the box.
And that is why there is Jerry. That is why in the opposition, the likes of Halicharan back in the lineup. We've spoken about Bengaluru and their wings. Ryan Williams will be playing. These are two teams with two foreign centre-backs, and we'll come to that, not in the 11 tonight, but as an option to play. But what do you make of Halicharan coming in, first game last time for Bengaluru, off the, straight from the start?
Yeah, but it had a little bit of a break, hadn't he? I mean, Joe Paul's been fortunate enough to give us what he thinks his best BFC 11 is. He's gone with that 4-2-3-1. I personally wouldn't go with Jovanovic and Damjanovic. I'd put Parag in there, so it would give me another foreigner that I could play forwards. Hali and Chetri, one of those I would switch. Week in, week out, or whoever's in form. And then I think I'd definitely play with Main up front, I think, because you do need that focal point. When it comes down to the ISL, the most important thing is the spine of the team. You've got to have power, strength, and quality. If you have two central defenders, you haven't got as much going forwards. So you have to be able to mix and match and chop and change things as you need to. You can have four players down that spine, and then you've got to put what qualities around it as well.
I spoke with Joe Paul before the show and asked him why Curtis Main isn't getting into that lineup. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. You spoke to him, not me.
I'm wondering why Joe Paul loves the target man.
No. I thought he told you.
Yeah, no, he said that he wants the two centre-backs, the two foreign centre-backs. But what about this poll? Rohit Kumar. What happened to Momo? 73% fans want to watch him. Is it slightly unfair on Keziah Windo?
No, because I think that it's taken away from someone like Main playing. It really, really is. So for me, I would be playing Rohit Kumar every day of the week and twice on a Sunday, because you know what you get from him. He's got those legs. He goes up and down. He started winning, you know, Man of the Match awards last year because of those impressive performances. He's battled his way into the national team, and you're not going to pick him, and you're going to leave out one of your main strikers, because we might as well let it out now. There's no Javi in the starting 11 either. So what this looks like from Bengaluru is, if he's playing his defensive midfield foreign player, if he's playing his two centre-back foreign players, you've got a triangle there. You've only got room for one more, and that is going to be Williams, who's stuck out on the wing. Where are they going to score? How are they going to score? What have they got going forwards? Have they got enough with this 11 to be able to score goals? Defensively, no issue, no problem. But going forwards, we saw in the last game, it was very, very disappointed, and I know the fans were not happy with that performance.
It was a bit we don't want to lose kind of selection. The approach as well, though. Sometimes the team might seem defensive, but the approach may not be that way. But this time, even against Goa, it did seem like the approach was more safe.
It is. It's more safe here, because Williams will trap back and Suresh and Halicharan will trap back. So basically, you've got Chetri up front all on his own, and you've got everybody else behind the ball, particularly when you lose it. So for me, this is what you've just said, and it is, and I call it that I don't want to lose team. I want to keep things tight team. I want to make sure we don't concede team. With the big man in goal, you've got India's #1, and that back line is not bad at all. So it's going to be down to Odisha to try and break them down. But you know that there are going to be 5 players out of that 6 that are supposed to push forwards that have to go the other way and trap back and defend as well. And that's what will happen. They will get a lot of bodies behind the ball tonight, PFC.
Well, at this point, usually we would throw to the pre-match interviews. But Mace, no pre-match interviews tonight. Do you want to tell the people why?
No, you can tell them, because then I can ask you the questions. Go on. Right, here we go. Hold on. Right, Simon. Right, okay. Are you ready? I'm speaking now to Simon Grayson.
Let's do it.
Right, okay. Are you ready? You were disappointed with the performance in the last match against Goa. What have you done to put it right today?
Well, we've gone with the same team. We've got a back 4, and in terms of Damjanovic and Jovanovic, I want to look for the clean sheet first. But we have width now in the form of Ryan Williams. Keziah's in there as well. And a start with Sunil Chhetri. Harsh comes in, a young player. That's the Bengaluru way.
Okay, well, I wasn't going to ask this question, but I am going to ask it to you now. No Javi, no Main. Why?
You're on the bench.
Okay, with the difference in personnel that you have played so far this season, how far do you feel that you are from finding the right balance in your team?
It took a while last season. So judging by how difficult the ISL is, it takes a while, Mace, and I think eventually we'll get it, because this club usually gets it by the end of it.
Okay, well...
Did I do okay?
Because of that answer, the last question will change, which will have been, you changed to a 3 last year and went on that unbeaten run. Why aren't we doing it now?
Ooh, a back 3. I love a back 3, Mace. You love a back 3 as well. Why aren't they doing it? Coming back to you.
I don't know. I really, really don't know. I think that he thinks that the balance and the players that he's got can perform here. I think it's taken a little bit of time for them to adapt to exactly what he wants. But no, they've got to start to hit the ground running, because otherwise they'll get cut adrift again. But we do know we could never, ever, ever write them off because of what happened last year and that amazing run they went on, you know, from just before Christmas on to the end of the season. It was remarkable.
Incredible. And of course, no disrespect to Simon Grayson. He was my manager of the season last term, and I had a bit of a tiff with Mace about that as well. But just in terms of why no pre-match interviews, it's because the home side is supposed to provide a driver for the away side.
That's correct, yep. And unfortunately, the driver turned up late. And honestly, there's no room, particularly in football, for lateness. What are you going to do? You're going to ask the referee to kick off 3 minutes late and keep everybody waiting? No, that's not going to happen. So that's the unfortunate thing that it is. That's why we don't have their interviews. But I would just like to thank Palasta Grayson for stepping into the hotline and answering those questions.
Ooh, to be Mr. Grayson for a day, that would be some challenge. Ryan Williams back as well, and he can offer us a lot, Mace. We haven't seen the best of him, but tonight is the night
First game, I was disappointed with him. I'll be completely honest. I know I've spoken to Eric about this a bit, but the second game that he played in, he looked really much better and was at the pace and had started to pick up the game. Maybe we're a little bit harsh on occasion. It does take time for players to settle into new countries. You look at what happens in Europe, you look at when they go to Australia, you look at wherever they go in the world. But here, you do have to hit the ground running. If you're a foreign player and you come into Asia, they expect you to perform from day one. But, you know, we're looking forward to seeing some more consistent performances from him.
And talking about consistency, we go straight to Gurpreet as well. And just that discussion, not just about the Asian Cup, but the amount of pressure that Gurpreet has had to deal with. Most number of saves in the league, but that also means there's a lot of shots coming towards him.
I was just going to say that, and he's playing this block where it's all defensive. So something is really going wrong at the moment. Not questioning Gurpreet with that. I'm on about the way that BFC are approaching the games. It's very tough. You know, the big man, he can drop a clanger occasionally. All the goalkeepers do here. They do throw one in accidentally, you know, they make a mistake. But boy, oh boy, when he's called into action, you know, it's 8-9 times out of 10, he is the man and the last line of defence that can pull off those stunning saves. I'll never forget that performance when he was with the national team against Qatar, which was absolutely awesome. I mean, I've never seen a keeper in Asia play like that for 90 minutes when they got that draw. He was unbelievable. He is a top draw keeper throughout Asia.
And that game against Qatar, another kind of Qatar, another kind of India coming up as well in November, so he has to be at the top of his game, very much like Sunil Chhetri as well. Just in terms of the attacking numbers, what do you make of these?
Interesting. It's the goals that we're looking at because that's exactly what we want. So what gets you goals? Shots per game. 9 compared with 34. Is that all the way across the 4 matches that have been played so far? I think it is. But it's not good, is it? I mean, you're talking, what, that's nearly a quarter of the shots throughout the whole of the 4 games that they've played. So we're expecting Odisha to have 4 times the amount of efforts on goal than Bengaluru tonight, because that's all that matters tonight, is getting goals.
We were talking before the game about this word direct football, and of course, Sergio Lobera's Odisha are not going to play that. They want to make Bengaluru run with the passing. But direct football doesn't have to be long ball. It can be the kind of direct football we saw Chennai in play the other night. A good kind of direct football.
Look, what is direct football? Seriously, what is direct football? You get the ball and you just bash it up there. It's not that. It's what happens after that. And if you remember, I mean, I'll give you a great example. Sam Allardyce, when he had JJ Okocha, when he had Yuri Djorkaeff, when he had all these players, he'd turn around to her.
And he had Phil Brown.
Yeah, right, as number 2. I tell you what, right, he used to get them, see the burnt dressing room, like, get the ball, Herrero, get the ball and launch it up there, right? So what happened then is, he said, I'm not interested in that first ball. He said, we get the second ball and we play there. I want to play in their third, not my third. So they never played out from the back. And he's asked people like Herrero to pick up the ball, you know, who's one of the top defenders in the world, and launch a 50-yard ball, and then they went from there. So there's nothing wrong with that.
And for that, you need Curtis Main as well to help out Sunil Chhetri. But just coming to, an Elon Musk 11, that is the name of the team. The leader, the monthly leader. Got a lot of players out there. Crivellaro, Shields, really getting him the win. Roshan captain, how brave is that?
Oof. Let's see if he gets some points tonight. It's going to be an interesting one.
Any fantasy disappointments? Because tonight,
I couldn't change my team, and I know that you've been wounded and gutted, and exactly the same as me. I've got players missing.
Javi, Murtada Fall, Diego Maurizio, I'm done. But we've just gotten started for this match week. This is where you can watch the game across all these languages as well. Odisha and Bengaluru. Quick prediction, Mace?
Oh, a tough one, but I'm going with a home win. I think that will open up this game.
All right. Final few visuals, and then over to Mark Tompkins and Paul Macefield on the World Feed.